we bring to your attention a report on the topic, the development of logical thinking of high school students through a problem-based approach to teaching mathematics. In this report, we will present the factors for implementing this approach and also briefly comment on the results of the pedagogical experiment. The formation and development of the logical thinking of young people acquires certain features. Mastering the components of logical thinking as the choice of a method for solving a task, a combination of techniques, and the development of a general style of mental activity should not be a side but the main result of learning, in particular in mathematics lessons. Traditionally, the learning of mathematics occurs in the process of solving mathematical tasks. More often, this process requires going beyond everyday experience, when it is not enough just to restore some information to memory. Indeed, in order to solve a task, you need to know some mathematical theorems or rules, you need to analyze the premises or objects which are present in the conditions of the task, use all known mathematical facts regarding the initial data, and derive the necessary consequences from the premises, that is, make analytic synthetic judgments. We try to distinguish the factors that determine the possibility of introducing a problem-based approach to teaching mathematics. They are the following. The first, the choice of a certain type of mathematical tasks. The second, selection of a method for solving mathematical tasks. And the third, drawing up a task system of the chosen type. Let's find out the essence of each of these factors on a specific example. One of the main content lines of the mathematics course at school is the line of equations. The topic equations occupies a leading place in the formation of individual mental operations, and tasks with parameters deserve special attention. The ability to solve these tasks is rightly considered an indicator of mathematical competence. In addition, these tasks allow you to check the formation of students' research skills. At the same time, an analysis of the results of external independent testing in 2021 showed that task 34, as expected, caused difficulties. We know that in the course of algebra and the beginning of analysis, the following types of equations are studied: rational, exponential, logarithmic, and trigonometric. In our study, we focused our attention on the first topic of the 10th grade, irrational equations, and considered irrational equations with parameters. The next factor is the choice of the method for solving the task. It is known that there is no general scheme for solving tasks with parameters. Usually, it is solved using analytical or graphical methods. The main methods for the analytical solving of irrational equations are as follows: raising both parts of the equations to the same degree, or introducing of a new variables. It is useful to find the admissible values of the unknown. The next rule is to make equivalent transformations of equations. An example of an irrational equation with a parameter is presented on the slide. A fragment of the chain of logical reasoning is illustrated by the table. This table presents the corresponding stages in the activities of the teacher and students. The logic of reasoning is vividly illustrated by the scheme algorithm. You can invite students to view a dynamic electronic blank to make the answer to the task with a parameter more visual. The third prerequisite for using the task approach, which the teacher must take care of, is the drawing up a task system. When compiling a system of irrational equations, we were guided by the following requirements. The content of tasks must comply with the principles of completeness, consistency, and gradual increase in complexity. Each task of the system must have ideological and technical complexity, and tasks should develop the ability to apply various mathematical methods and choose the most rational of them. We organized a pedagogical experiment to determine the effectiveness of the problem-based approach. The base of the study was the institutions of secondary education of Kryvyi Rih. The study involved 367 students of the 10th grade of different educational profiles. We formed the control and experimental groups using a test method. Examples of the test tasks are presented on the slide. The test contained 20 questions. An analysis of the test results showed that the majority of students scored from 2 to 7 points, which corresponds to level from low to average. Consequently, the conducted research reveals problematic moments in the development of logical thinking. The continuance of the experiment had to study the topic power function irrational equations. The educational process in the control group was carried out according to the traditional method. Classes in the experimental group were organized on the basis of the proposed system of tasks with parameters. The distribution of students by levels of development logical thinking at the beginning and the end of the experiment is presented on the current slide. Statistical analysis of the results by Fisher's criterion confirms that the distribution of students in the experimental and control groups is significantly different. The positive results of the implementation of the proposed approach are evidenced by a noticeable increase in the proportion of students with above average and high levels of logical thinking. Let's briefly summarize. Logical thinking is the ability to think accurately, consistently, and conclusively, without contradictions in reasoning and mistakes. Logical thinking develops in the learning process, primarily through the learning of the school course of mathematics. Tasks with parameters develop logical thinking. This is due to the fact that the solving of such tasks is aimed at the developing research skills. Prospects for further research consist in the study of individual mental operations of adolescents and in the study of the possibilities of the task approach within of other topics of mathematics. Thank you for your attention.